guys, and welcome back to Daddy and Daughter Electronics. This year we're going to be at the Maker Faire again. So today we are making a customized sign out of a piece of wood. Just a piece of wood.
So why did you select this piece of wood, Kathryn?
Because I like the size. It's very decent and it looks really nice. And I like the natural edge on the wood.
What kind of wood is that?
I think it's walnut.
So we're going to go ahead and use it. So what's your plan for this piece of walnut? What are you going to do?
Okay, so we're going to carve the my name with the CNC router, and then we're going to make holes and put LEDs in it and use hot glue to make it look really cool. So
all right, so let's go ahead and get started. So now, what are we going to do, Kathryn?
we are going to, well, we already programmed the CNC router.
All right, so we're using a program here that's called F-Engrave. It's free and open source, just the way we like it. And what we did is we played around a little bit with the different fonts available and different text heights, because Kathryn's piece of wood is 11.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. So we wanted to get some letters that would fit in there. And this selection with 2.5-inch letters and our settings gives us 9.38 inches width. So that's pretty good. Gives us a little margin on the outside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back here and we are going to recalculate this. And I'm going to move our little webcam screen here. And I'm going to say calculate VCarve. And that's it. It's done. Now, if you haven't used this software before, it's pretty simple. Here under settings, we have different modes. You can just engrave stuff. So if you have an engraving bit, pretty simple. It just kind of goes on the surface. Or if you want to carve it, you can use VCarve mode. You can also do images, so you can carve images with this software. So under VCarve settings, I told it I just have a straight bit. It's 1/8 of an inch. We want to cut to 0.175 inches. Notice that it's negative because it's down, and everything else here is default. So we said calculate VCarve, and then we close this, and now you'll see it shows where the router should carve out her stuff. So we're ready to save this as a G-code file, and I'll save it as Kathryn NGC. And now we're ready to go to the CNC router.
One thing about this is you can have any name on there, not just Kathryn.
Yes, I think people know that.
Only
Thank you for pointing that out.
people say that on a DIY video all the time, like on some random show.
Captain Obvious here. All right, let's get to it.
Now we're ready to do the CNC router. The board has been aligned up and the drill bit's been set in the right spot, so we're ready to go.
We figured out how much spacing we wanted on each side. If you've never used a little CNC machine like this before, you have to do something they call touching off, where you adjust and say, this is where I want to start my carving. And hopefully we did that right. So let's see what happens. This is, by the way, our first use of the CNC cart, as seen on 2 Phillips, 2 Shopsmiths.
Now we are ready to put in our LEDs.
So what does it look like
Fail.
now? What's the front look like, Kathryn?
This is what the front looks like. We just drilled a few holes anywhere we're gonna put the LEDs in, as you can see in this lovely board. So we just did like the major joints of the letter, and now we're gonna insert the LEDs. And my dad recommends that you put the positive side up. This is the positive side right here.
How do you know which one is which?
The positive side is the one that's longer. See, as you can see, this one's shorter than this one. So then you put it up, and then you stick it in, and you just keep doing that with the LEDs that are any color you choose. Hey guys, now we're going to do the next two steps, which we kind of almost already did. First, we glue the LEDs to the board with hot glue, and as you can see, it's glued. And don't forget to check to make sure the positives are up and the negatives are down. And one way you can tell is if the longer side of the longer stick thing coming out of the LED is positive and the shorter one is negative. And you can also use a battery. Where's the battery? This thing. But if it lights up like this, hold on. Let me get better contact. Like that, then that means it's good. So, and then after you've checked all the LEDs and checked them again and then glue them down, then you want to wrap wire around the negative side of the LEDs. And if you have LEDs really close to each other, you can wrap all the negative sides of that LED together, and yeah.
So we're going to connect all the negatives together, and then we're going to solder that together, and then we're going to group the positive sides in a couple of groups. How many groups are we going to use?
About 6.
Why are we going to use 6?
Because that's how much our Arduino gives us.
Alright, so the Arduino chip that we're going to use, it's actually not an Arduino technically, we're using the ATMega328, which is what's in the Arduino, and it has 6 pulse width modulation channels. So more about that a little bit later.